Hello, welcome to a new vlog. How's this for aesthetic? So, I've been waiting for these books to come in the mail, and they are finally here. We are going to be reading Elliot Page's favorite books. Here's how I discovered these. So, one, there are a few lists that you can find if you Google his dead name and favorite books. There are a few articles that have some of his favorite books, but those are a little bit outdated, and I don't know, I just wasn't really vibing with them as much. So what I did instead was I went onto his Twitter and went to media and looked at all of their media, which is 90% book recommendations. There's only a few, I mean, he's not posting a ton. But then today, or maybe it was yesterday, he posted an Instagram story that was recommending the book Split Tooth by Tanya Tagaq, which I have already read, and I love that book, so I already know that we are in the right direction. Elliot Page has impeccable taste. He is so well read, so smart too. Oh, don't put your feet in the thorns. He reads books about climate change, indigeneity, queerness, and just across the board. Mostly nonfiction, but obviously Split Tooth is fiction, so occasionally I believe he's also reading some. In my recommending books based on Elliot's thirsty Instagram video, I recommended the book Amateur by Thomas Page Mckibben, and then today on Instagram he retweeted something about Thomas Page Mckibben's documentary. So I like to think that he watched my video. Yeah, so anyway, we have the books. They have arrived. I did have to get them from Amazon because I couldn't really find them at any local bookstores, unfortunately. And I wanted to make this video, so convenience. I also have another package that I got from a illustration company called Ash and Chess. Instagram ads, baby. Or not Instagram ads, but I think I saw this from Transfigure Printing Company. They did a collaboration with them or something. But they do prints and t-shirts and stickers and stuff, so I have a t-shirt we're gonna unbox. And then, yeah, so I'm going to read these two physical books, and then I'm going to listen to one audiobook. And the only audiobook that I could find through my library that he has recommended in the past is the book called Falter. I'll put it here. And it's about climate change and I think human extinction. So we'll listen to that. Sounds like a great time. Let's start with the shirt. It's also, it fits the theme, okay? It's the theme of our trans icon. Sorry, radical feminists, radical lesbians. We have stolen. Oh my gosh, it came with stickers. Business card. Nice, 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 nice. Okay, and here we go. It wasn't exactly the t-shirt I wanted right away, but they sell out so fast. So I just grabbed the only one that they still had in stock. Here it is. Cute, right? Cute, right? Should we put it on? Should we try it on? Alright, ready, transition? Ta-da! Oh, I love it. Yes, so good. I feel alive. I feel beautiful. I feel seen. Okay. Alright, let's go for the books. Oh nice, they're actually both pretty short, which is kind of nice. So the first one is There's Something in the Water, Environmental Racism in Indigenous and Black Communities by Ingrid R.G. Waldron. And this was actually, so Elliot liked this book so much that he directed a documentary about it. So I'm planning on reading this first and then watching the documentary as well. And unfortunately, he is dead named on the cover, but hopefully that will change in the next round of printing. Anyway, very excited to read this. Nonfiction, obviously. And then the second one is High Ground Coward. Can you see? By Alicia Mountain. These are poems, I believe. Yeah, poems. Alicia Mountain looks at every tiny thing very closely, and in doing that conveys the big picture of a vast inner life with marvelous clarity and depth. So I believe this book has themes of like queerness. Alicia Mountain's urgent and astonishing debut collection maps a new queer landscape through terrain alive and sensual, defiant, and inviting. With a voice that beckons while it howls, Mountain nimbly traverses lyric, confessional, and narrative modes, leaving groundbreaking tracks for us to follow. This sounds great. Okay, yeah, so we've got these two books plus Falter. And that's what we will be reading for this vlog. And, you know, the books I'm currently reading, fuck them. My TBR, it can wait. We've got Elliot recommendations to read. Did you drop your banana? I'll check in with you. I just palmed a fly or something. I'm about halfway through High Ground Coward by Alicia Mountain. This is probably one of the best collections of poetry I've ever read. And I've read a lot of poetry. This is like, now that I've taken all these poetry workshops and I know the craft, you know, I know the cliches, I know what makes a good skillful poem. Like, there's so much skill in each of these. So far, my favorites are the opening poem. The book is A Hungry Darkness. It starts out, my desires are berries because they are small and many. I love that. I also love the poem On Being Told to Do Whatever I Want. And this opening line, whatever I want is to run the stick of my deodorant along each of your spread eagle limbs, to dig my nails into your forearm at takeoff and find turbulence every time and be afraid of nothing. Oh, there are no periods. Oh, there are periods. Be afraid of nothing and falling to split a cake for dinner or light the sheets on fire, to take a raccoon as a pet, train it to fold more tiny paper raccoons with its little human hands, to make twins of each of us, watch them braid each other's hair, watch them use their tongues, to know for certain we will die at night, to know which commodities you've stolen, and convince the hygienist I'm committed to flossing, to wipe away the lint stuck to my lips. And then it continues. And then I just read this line that blew me away. So this Cosmo quiz of income I'm counting on to make sense of how we were never married, but I dream more than I sleep now. And I love the line, I dream more than I sleep. I think that's freaking wild. There's also an after poem, which I've been wanting to do an after poem, which is like when you write a poem almost in response to another poem, so you like credit that poem and then write a poem that comes after it. This one's called Palomino, and it's after Mary Ruefle, and I was thinking I might write an after poem after that that one I just read, which is called Number Love My Taxes. I don't know, this is really good, very good, queer, sapphic Midwest poetry. And I'm about to make dinner, so I'm going to listen to the audiobook. So let's see what we got. Let's see how long this puppy is. Falter by Bill Mckibben. 10 hours. I'm just, okay, you know, my hesitancy is that this is like some academic white guy, I assume. And I think this was an older recommendation. So I'm wondering, you know, came out in 2019. So, let's talk about the sunshine. Have I showed you my garden recently? It's kind of, I mean, the peas came and went. They got fried in the heat wave. But I've got some other stuff going. Got, I think this pepper. Is not good. Right? It's like, oh, can you see? Like, got fried. So, that's not good. I don't know if there's some more flowers up top, so it might produce something, but. And I've got, like, these little cherries. Some beans back there, those are starting to produce. Some more cherries. Got some big boys in here. You can see some more big boys. And then we got these like ball sack looking ones. My corn, baby corn is growing over there. Got all these dandelions that popped up. My strawberries have been taken over by carrot seed, but look. Oh. Lavender. Oh, plot 2. Kind of just let it get overrun by weeds. So that happened, but my squash is over there. It's doing pretty good. I have this like vivid image of someone eating squash flowers. Is that a thing that you do? Let me know, because we have a lot of them. But then if you eat the flower, does it not bear fruit? I would like to know that. Look how beautiful this field is. I should maybe film a video right here. Not in the direct sunlight, but yeah. Okay, so I listened to like 3 hours of the Falter audiobook last night while I was cleaning, and it was like pretty much what I expected it to be, you know, not anything amazing, not anything really new to me, but a lot of sad facts about the world and the species which have gone extinct in the last decade. Some like interesting facts. It's that like there's 60% less animals on Earth now than there was in 1970. I think 5 of the 6 oldest species on Earth have gone extinct in the last decade. That might actually be 6 now, because this was in 2019. I don't know if the rhinoceros is considered one of those, but I think that just went extinct like this year or last year. Anyway, very sad. So yeah, there's some sad information, and it is pretty much what I thought it was. A lot of the reviews were like angry that he was going on all these tangents in the beginning of the book, but I feel like that it's fine. They were all tangents about the topic he's discussing, you know, so people are just haters because they don't want to think about climate change. And I've read quite a few more poems from the Alicia Mountain poetry collection, and it's just so amazing. It's just so amazing. I'm wowed at the craft. But yeah, I gotta work now, but hopefully I'll be able to read a little bit more today. How's it going?
Good.
Hi, my best friend and her partner just left, and they stayed the night, and we went to Pal's today. The internet I haven't read any of my books, but I'm going to show you what I got, and then I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to read and probably take a nap. So first is a book for Otto, which is Bodies Are Cool by Tyler Feeder, and the illustrations are really cute. It's obviously a very like cool body positive book, and it's adorable and wholesome. So I got that. I got The Galaxy and the Ground Within by Becky Chambers. This is the fourth in the is it the Wayfarers series? I still need to read the third, but I wanted to get the fourth just to have it. It's kind of stressful because the third book doesn't match the first, second, and fourth now, but maybe if I like see this edition, or the third one in this edition, I'll get it for later, but yeah, I don't mind too much. So I'm going to read this. If you haven't read The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, I highly recommend it. It's very good and queer. I also got Dawn by Octavia Butler. I have read this already.
Same number.
I have already read this. This is the first in the like Xenogenesis trilogy, also known as Lilith's Brood, when it's all together in like one bind up. But they've been coming out with these new covers that I think are really gorgeous. So I wanted to start getting them, and I'm also going to reread the first one with Iris, and I haven't read the second and third, so we're going to read those, I think, when the new covers come out. Later this year, well, I think the second one is coming out like in a couple of months, and then maybe the third one is coming out in 2022 or something, but yeah, it's good. I want to obviously read a lot more Octavia Butler, so I think it's good to kind of spread it out because like she's an author that I love so much and cherish so deeply that I don't want to read all of her books like at once when there's not going to be new stuff coming out. I want to like savor it, so I want to read her entire backlist, but I want to do it like over many years. So yeah, I'm gonna reread this and then read the next two as they come up, but I was meaning to get this and I finally got it. And then the last one I got is The Girl from the Sea by Molly Knox Ostertag. This is the author and illustrator of Witch Boy, another like middle grade graphic novel. This one I think is young adult though, and I think it's like a queer, like mermaid human romance. Yeah, it looks really cute. I've heard really good things about it. Also, Molly Knox Ostertag is the partner of Noelle Stevenson, who did Lumberjanes and Nimona, and I really liked those as well. Also, She-Ra, the cartoon. So yeah, these are my books, Otto's books. Let me give you a little update. It's now Monday, and it was an eventful weekend, but we're feeling good now. What are we doing today? We're gonna go to the store. We're gonna get more ice cream sandwiches and dog food. Yay, dog food! Let me tell you about my reading, okay? So I finished High Ground Coward. God, it was gorgeous. Loved this book so much. Highly recommend. I would love to see more from Alicia Mountain if she is still writing, I don't know. But yeah, absolutely loved. Here are my favorite poems toward the end were Closing Costs. That's a good noise. And Forward Falling Daytime. Do you like that sound? Yep. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this book. It's very queer, very, just kind of gives you those, like, mountainous, well, no, not like Midwest, kind of cold atmosphere vibes, and I loved this a lot. So far, so good, Elliot. So far, so good. Started reading There's Something in the Water by Ingrid G. Waldron. This, my friends, is an academic piece of text. This reads more like a textbook than anything, which is fine, you know? Good content can be formatted as a textbook sometimes. But I will say that this is so academic that it does feel a little bit inaccessible at times, because you know how academics do it. They like refer to all of these acronyms and you're like, I don't fucking know what that acronym is. Or they refer to things that you just need like a strong background in environmental policy already to understand, and that's like, you can definitely read this, Google it, do some additional research for it to make sense, which I have been doing because it is quite a lot for my brain. But what I am getting from it, even though it is, you know, it feels a bit inaccessible, it is an academic text, but it is packed to the brim with really powerful, important information. And I can see why Ellie would read this and then want to make a documentary about it. So I've read the intro and a little bit into chapter 1 so far, but I have done a lot of highlighting. So I'll share some facts I've learned so far, which is, so the concept of environmental racism emerged when the Northeast Community Action Group, a group of African American suburban homeowners in a middle class enclave in Houston, tried to prevent the siting of a landfill near their neighborhood in 1979. The group launched the civil rights suit Bean versus Southwestern Waste Management Incorporated under the legal direction of Linda Mckibben Bullard, the wife of Professor Robert Bullard, who's often referred to as the father of environmental justice. You see what I mean? It's like a lot, but it's also like good information. So it's heady as heck, but I think it's good. It's gonna be good. I haven't read any of Falter, but I have to do the dishes later, so I'll probably listen to it while I do that. Did I spill anything? No. Hello, I am updating this vlog right after I updated the Try Chapter video, so that's what's going on here. I read quite a bit of There's Something in the Water last night and did a lot of highlighting. It's still very like unapproachable in a lot of ways, but a large portion of what I read last night were specific examples of environmental racism in various indigenous and black communities in the Canada, colonized Canada. I forget what the word is, unfortunately, but so yeah, there's like really specific examples, which I think is good, and I'm wondering if that was the part of the book that the documentary is going to be based on, if it's going to like go to these specific communities and show those examples of environmental racism, which look like a lot of things, you know, like landfills being being built in black communities, or pipelines, oil fields, you know, the whole gamut. So I am so interested to see what pieces the documentary takes, and I do think that's going to be the most like connectable piece, right? So that's my guess. But yeah, I have to go into the office today, so when I go into the office, I park by the library and walk down. It's like half a mile or something. So I'm going to pick up a hold that I have in, and then I'm going to listen to Falter on my walk. I'm maybe like halfway through. So, oh, I don't know if I told you this yet, but this author goes on like a huge Ayn Rand rant, and it's kind of funny, you know, because Ayn Rand, but it really makes you wonder, just like the influence of Ayn Rand on so many billionaires, zillionaires, like mega corporation CEOs. It makes you wonder what our world would be like without Atlas Shrugged. I would love to read like an alternate reality with no Atlas Shrugged. It could be called Atlas Bugged. Otto, I love you. Hello, yeah, the screen is crooked. It's artsy. It's artsy, isn't it? Okay, so I have finished. I just got back from work. I didn't wear this hoodie. I just put it back on for comfort. Because it's cold in the barn, huh? I finished There's Something in the Water, and I also finished Falter by Bill Mckibben. I'll talk about Falter first. So this is a nonfiction book about the select few humans who have fucked up our climate and the power that they have, where that power came from, where the kind of thought process is with billionaires, zillionaires, and like, yeah, like what the thought process is behind not fixing the climate. And I mean, it's all money, right? It's all rooted in capitalism, though Bill Mckibben does make a point to say, like, it's easy to say this is all a result of capitalism, but that takes some of the responsibility off of these horribly evil Bezos people who have the power to end world hunger in a second, to solve climate crisis by investing in green energy, whatever, and yet they continue to exploit the materials of the earth, and they see climate change happening and don't do shit about it. So this was a very good, like, informative, kind of policy-oriented, you got it? You want this one? Policy-oriented book about climate change. It wasn't super, like, I don't know, like, it wasn't cheesy, which I appreciated, because I feel like I've been reading some books that are kind of fucking cheesy, and I kind of am scared about them, you know, but this one wasn't cheesy at all. It was definitely, you know, like, this scientist who's kind of, like, done with everything, like, kind of frustrated with how things are in the world and how preventable so many of these things have been, and how we've known since essentially the beginning of the oil industry. We've known how it would impact the earth, because that's how oil companies have been able to calculate how much oil they can drill. And they've been making these predictions since the beginning and denying it for profit. So, you know, it's tragic. This wasn't a super, like, heartfelt book. It did, of course, as most of these books do, end on, like, here's what we can do to fix it kind of thing. And it's like, investing in solar is a huge, huge one. And stopping drilling. And yeah, I mean, we're at this point still, like, headed in that direction. I remember when I was, like, 6 years old, watching An Inconvenient Truth. Maybe I was a little older, like 10 or something. And like knowing then that we only had like 10 years to fix irreversible damage. And here we are like having these same conversations, and it's just like, I've known this since I was a child. This is so frustrating. So yeah, I don't know. It's easy to get jaded about this stuff. And I think it's important to also be educated about it, but it's depressing. So I understand the approach that many people take, which is apathy and ignorance, but also we need to like hold people accountable, but it's hard to do when they have so much money in a system that is built to literally turn people with money into gods because they have so much control, because you can control everything with money. You know, it's hard to find happiness in this predicament, and I am trying. I struggle sometimes. This little joy of my life definitely helps, but also, of course, brings their own set of anxieties, and I don't know, like, it's possible, right? It's possible that we are gonna have a few really shitty years that are going to really force us to do something dramatic that is, you know, and I'm hoping that like these big oil companies that are doing this for profit see the profit in other means of energy, because like, you know, if everyone dies, no one's gonna buy your oil, right? So I really think that might be a major step in the recovery of our planet, which is so sad. And in that time when capitalism crumbles because no one's buying oil, that, my friends, is when we need to rebuild under a new structure. Maybe it's communism, maybe it's socialism, maybe it's nothing we've ever seen before. Why do we get so caught up in like the 5 types of government that we've seen in the past, many of which have failed in some way or another? It's just so silly to me that we like don't continue to think creatively about alternate systems of government and economy. Like, God, it's so silly, but a better future is there, okay? I am here to tell you. We're gonna manifest it. Let's collectively manifest a world in which shit isn't fucked, okay? Let's talk about this before my camera dies. I am going to try to watch the documentary if I can find it. This is There's Something in the Water. Like I said, it's very academic. It's not quite as approachable. Hey. Anyway, as I was saying, so yeah, a little bit less approachable because it is so academic. It's also focusing on Nova Scotia. So a lot of it is like specific policy to that area. What's wrong? Are you trying to poop? That is a long, grunty poop. You can do it. You can do it, I promise. You just have to push really hard. Take a breath. Poop it out, baby. I believe in you. Some of this was like so policy heavy that it's hard for me to like really understand that without kind of seeing the personal experiences attached to them. And I do think that this book would resonate a lot better. I know that like this is my critique of academic text, and it's probably not really fair because there are plenty of like memoir and more socially emotional, like people-driven books about this, and I think that that's what I personally connect with most. So yeah, I'm wondering if the documentary, because I think just like seeing people in this scenario is gonna, you know, pull on the ethos or whatever it is and maybe make a little bit more sense, and allow me to connect a little bit better. Yeah, but it is all very important information, and I highlighted the shit out of a lot of shit, so that's usually a good sign. Okay, it's time for this baby to shit and sleep, and I'm gonna see if I can find the documentary.
What kind of country is Canada? That depends on the eyes you put on it.
Nova Scotia, Canada's ocean playground. I grew up in the capital city, Halifax. Drive less than an hour away in any direction, and you're on a scenic shoreline without a worry in the world.
Oh. Hi, okay, holy shit, Otto just finally passed out. I don't know if anyone else with kids, or like who's around kids, if they also just like grunt as loud as they fucking can when they're tired. It's like, I don't really care when they're crying, like that's doesn't grate on me as much, but it's the just, oh my god. It's just like hurts my soul. Anyway, Otto's sleeping. I just watched There's Something in the Water, the documentary. It's on Netflix, by the way, at least in the US it's on Netflix. I think it might be like a Netflix original, maybe. But yeah, it was done by Elliot Page and Ian Daniels. This was before Elliot's transition, so yeah, be aware of that as well. But the documentary was great. Much better than the book. I mean, the book had like so many good facts, and I think if I had a lot of time to like sit with each thing and process it, it would have had an impact. But I think because I'm like not that intelligent, I needed the documentary to really like pull focus for me. And the word I meant earlier was not ethos, it was pathos, which is when you like draw on the emotional side of things, and I think that this did a much better job of that as the book than the book, obviously, because the book was so academic and statistical and kind of removed, whereas this, they go to 3 different places, 2 reservations and 1 black community, and they focus on the black community that has a landfill that closed in 2016, but that has just poisoned their water, and the majority of people have died from cancer. And then in the second place was a reservation as well, or a reservation where there's like this whole thing with this place called Boat Harbor, which is like the colonized name for it, but where they, I think, were doing like drilling or something, and yes, there was a whole thing about that, and then there was like more drilling and pipeline stuff and just contaminated water in the 3rd reservation, and yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. And it is very much like everywhere, you know, like to some extent, every reservation is facing the impacts of climate change at a greatly disproportionate rate. For example, here in Oregon, we have 2 main reservations. One is the Grand Ronde Reservation, and one is Warm Springs. And in Warm Springs, they are just fucked over with wildfires every year. Like, that's usually where the Oregon wildfires start, and they've already had like 4 or 5 just this year alone so far, and we're not even into the peak of wildfire season. It's a big space, but still, you know, and they are constantly running out of water. They're in a huge drought, and similarly to the first place that they talked about here, where they just needed like $10,000 to go toward piping so they could get city water, it's like all of Warm Springs pipes need replaced, and it could be fixed so easily if we weren't spending money on, you know, cops and shit. So yeah, it's I mean, I'm sure wherever you are in the world, you have your own personal experience with this if you pay attention to the reservations, if you belong to an indigenous community. It's yeah, or like predominantly black neighborhoods as well, or communities, and you can see that in bigger areas. I highly recommend watching the movie. The book, if you're like a very statistically driven person and you want to see all of the resources that Ingrid Waldron used to put this all together, I would definitely recommend it. But I think like if you have an hour and 10 minutes, that you should just watch this documentary real quick because it's very good. So overall, this is the end of the vlog, and I think that Elliot Page has great taste in books, has great taste, has great ethics and morals in using his platform to make a difference. Also at the end they were like, a private donation has been made to put in the pipes for the first community that they talked about, and I'm like, private donation, Elliot? Very modest of you. But sometimes I worry, you know, about like the idea of, like at the beginning I was kind of worried because Elliot was very much like, here's my experience in Nova Scotia. And then I was like, oh no, are they about to center themselves in this and like kind of make it like a white savior thing? But it was not like that at all. And yeah, I just think that Elliot is really admirable and hot and attractive, and if you're watching this, DM me, okay? We can talk about books. This was a really great reading vlog, reading experience in general. All books I wouldn't have picked up on my own, and I'm so glad that I did. And I think that I'm gonna keep paying attention to Elliot's Twitter and Instagram, and if he continues to post book recommendations, I'm just gonna keep screenshotting them so that I can get more current recommendations. I know, like I said earlier, they posted Split Tooth as a book recommendation, which I agree is a great book you should read, and had I not already read it, I definitely would have read it for this video. But if they continue to post books that I haven't read, I will absolutely read them in another rendition of this vlog. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you have ever been influenced by Elliot to pick up a book, or if you've read any of these books, or if you want to read any of these books. Also, if you liked this video, and if there's anyone else, any other like hot trans or queer icon who has good taste in books who I should do a reading vlog inspired by, let me know. Okay, my camera is dying. Thanks for watching.